Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the ASI number 0515 Specimen Turntable Pass Box. I have one here on my desk, and we're going to take a closer look at it in this video and determine how it works, all of the different parts and pieces that come with it, and its operation. So let's do a little bit of a visual tour of it first. Weighs about 22 pounds, and this is the business end of the unit, obviously. This is what's called a turntable style, and it's called that because this literally, there's a ball catch inside of there that's keeping it rotating until we get it turned off. And it literally just rotates 360 degrees, and it locks in place, or it doesn't lock in place. It finds a center. And let's see, well, there's probably no evidence of it out here, but this will, and we'll get to that in a moment, but this will just simply rotate 360 degrees continuously. Now, via this ball catch that you can see evidence up here in the top, okay, and if I hold it just right in the camera, you can see it right inside of there. Keep your eye on this line here where the roller catch is, the ball catch. Right there. So what there are is there are a couple of perforations. There's a perforation, I should say, and you can just barely see evidence of it right here. And what that serves to do is to just simply allow the unit to find a center point when it is open on this side, or when it locks in 180 degrees later, open on this side. Okay? So there is no function of it locking in place. It can be continuously rotated. If a patient or a customer is on their side of the wall separating likely the collection area, the laboratory area, and let's say the restroom, there's nothing that is going to necessarily, there is nothing that will lock it from rotating. Okay, so it will continuously spin. Now let's continue on with our visual tour of the unit. We've discussed the function. We know how it works. It rotates continuously. It will have those ball catch detents that will keep it either open on this side or open on the opposite side, and it is freely rotating. Now the lock that's on here, there is a lock that's here. Okay, the key is included, standard typical key that's included with this. The function of this lock is to simply lock down this flange. There is a hinge over here, and when we unlock that, this door will simply open. Okay. Now the only functionality that this has is it will permit you to grab the turntable and literally slide it out. This entire turntable will slide out. So we can open that. Allowing that to slide out. Okay. Ball bearing tracks. Okay. Does indeed allow that to freely spin, and it has that feature on both ends. Okay. Those perforations I had talked about earlier, we can now clearly see them, and the evidence of the ball catch around this area here Okay. Evidence of it right here, all the way around in a circular fashion. Now the reason to pull it out is twofold. You need to be able to take the unit, okay, the cabinet, and once the turntable is removed, you can then get access to these slots, which will allow you to install the box onto the wall via these trim plates. There's two of them, these telescoping plates. And what you do is you get one plate installed, down like that. The second plate obviously is going to install this way. Okay. That's going to give you the concept of being able to tailor the opening to a particular wall thickness. Okay. Then it's through the inside here is where you'll gain access to attach it to the wall. So depending on where I locate my two plates, I can snug this up to the wall, bring my plates down to hug the wall, and then I'll screw it through the access from the inside to these slots, which will go through both of those perforations. So that's number one. Number two, obviously removing this for cleaning would probably be, you know, the wise idea. So this would need to be sanitized on whatever the schedule would be. But when you have that unit installed, you'll simply open the door, place the turntable back into its housing, and then your installation is but complete as you close that door. And you can tailor that onto your wall thickness however it actually, you know, suits your condition. If you wanted to snug this plate up to one side, you certainly can, but you can balance that as well. And this is obviously going to work on a range of wall thickness. Okay, so let's demonstrate just putting this back. I will unlock the lock. The door simply opens. Doesn't matter which side goes in. Okay. All we needed to do was to give that just a little bit of a tap to get it all the way in. And now we can easily close and lock that door. Okay, so sorry you're looking at this over my shoulder. And now we've got it put back together and the unit rotates very well. Okay, so let's pause this video and let's take a look at some of the technical data sheet that is listed down below, now that we've got an idea of what it physically looks like. Okay, so this is the item that we are indeed looking at here, and we have some extended description information down below that we can review, and let's do that now. So, receives objects up to 5 7/8 wide by 10 7/16 high by 10 inch deep, and we will put the tape measure on this to confirm that dimension in the upcoming portion of this video. Accommodates wall thicknesses from 3 3/8 to 7 inch. We'll test that as well. We've demonstrated how it rotates 360 degree between catch stops in either direction. It simply does. Ball bearing rotation mechanism at top and bottom. That we demonstrated that. Tumbler lock keyed alike to other ASI washroom equipment. This has the L-001 lock and the E114 key. Satin stainless steel. The rough opening dimension of 13 1/4 by 14 inch tall. We will check that as well. Specimen container is placed, and there is not a specimen container included with this, inside the turntable cylinder, and is then manually rotated clockwise or counterclockwise 180 degree to present the container to the rear opening. Access to the unit is gained by unlocking and opening the door. Again, when you need to install it initially, okay, or uninstall it, certainly, and also to remove the mechanism so as to clean it, okay. Rough opening and adjustable trim. Now here's the cut sheet, and let's take a closer look at that. That's a 2-page document. It's going to give the dimensional properties of what we've already discussed, or what we're going to verify with the tape measure. And then again, it telescopes. Those 2 flanges will come down so that it's balanced on the wall. You need to have a certain reveal here, okay? If this exterior wall flange is tight to the back side of the door, the hinge here will bind and not allow it to open beyond 90 degree. So you probably want to balance that, I would imagine, is how that would be installed. Okay. Sliding track. This is a cross section, like a right side view, showing the ball bearing raceway here, and how that unit will slide in top and bottom. Sliding track top and bottom, ball bearing top and bottom. Okay. Specification. The turntable pass box will receive specimen containers up to that size. Rotate 360 degree between the catch stops. So it goes 180, finds a catch stop. Another 180, finds another catch stop. Bullet catches, it's really what it is. It's a bullet catch is what it is. Turntable shall be a fully enclosed compartment with only its 6 by 10.5 inch pass door open, and shall be track mounted with ball bearing rotation mechanism at top and bottom. So this is the document that you would lift and place into your specifications if you were defining to a vendor that of what exactly it is that you anticipated. This gives the definition of the product that you're looking for. Pass door open and shall be track mounted with ball bearing rotation mechanism at top and bottom. Turntable retaining door shall be hung on side with a 3/16 diameter stainless steel multi-staked piano hinge. I'll show you that hinge a little bit closer. Closed and locked with the tumbler lock and the E114 key. And there is a link below this video to each of those items. Should you want more keys, you'd be able to buy more of those. Unit shall be fabricated of 18/8 stainless steel, type 304. The trim is 22 gauge. The frame is 18 gauge. And all exposed surfaces have a number 4 satin finish. The surface of the unit that you see features a peel-away protective paper over the stainless, plastic over the stainless. Well, PVC film, we were close. PVC film, which you peel off after you've installed it. Trim shall adjust for wall thickness of 3 3/8 to 7 inch. Okay, and that flange, one-piece construction with no miters or welding, 1 inch wide and returning a 1/4 inch to the finished wall. Now this, page 2, details your installation, which we've kind of touched on. So you do need to open up the unit and remove the turntable. Slide that out. Okay, your first flange will go on as they're showing here. Then you'll go through the wall, bring your second flange in. I would recommend balancing it on the wall itself. So insert turntable box into wall opening with wraparound trim already on unit. Mount and adjust wrap around back trim to wall thickness. That bullet catch holds the turntable in the fixed position. They're referring to it there. Your mounting screws will go right through the edge of the cabinet and through the flanges of both the inner and outer wall flange. Okay, once it's secured, you'll slide your turntable back in. You'll be able to then close your door and lock it. Okay, so let's finish up this video on camera. Now let's take a closer look and get those dimensions verified as well. So what we're dealing with is, they talked about first of all, the wall thickness. From 3 3/8 to 7 inch. So we'll slide these in and down. Okay, and we can get that at a minimum, that wall thickness. Looks like it's closer to about 3 1/4. Okay, and they say out to 7 inch, and I'm just going to spread these out. Yeah, if I were to spread that all the way flush, we're definitely going to get to 7 inch. Okay, and that would leave enough margin for the condition I mentioned earlier about the hinge that's here. We want that door to open out to 90 degree, so we're going to need to leave a bit of a margin behind there. And I would say the amount of the return, okay, so you're going to need to stay away from that hinge, you know, maybe a 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch would certainly do it, okay? Now, let's talk about the other dimensional properties of the unit. Let's see what those were, as I don't recall what we're dealing with. Let's take a look. So, the size of what you can receive, that's going to be based on basically the opening size. Okay. So the opening size is about 5 5/8 or so. Ten and 7/16 high. Well, that opening is about 10 and 7/16. 10 inch deep. We get our tape measure put all the way inside of there, and I would say yes, it would be no problem to receive something that would be 10 inch deep, because the overall depth is about 12 inch. So following the guidelines of what you can insert into the turntable obviously need to be followed. They say a rough opening of 13 1/4 wide by 14 inch tall. And when I place my tape measure on the unit, the body size is about 13 inch. About 13 inch, okay? Then they've got 14 inch tall. It'd be about accurate as well, about 14 inch. They said that those flanges were 1 inch wide, and indeed they are. And that would feature a 1/4 inch return on the back side, which it does. 1/4" return here. Okay. Now, the balance of the dimensional properties that we're looking for here to verify appears as if we have them all covered. Rough opening we've talked about, 13 1/4 by 14, that makes sense. The wall thickness range and the size of the unit that you can place into it. You don't often sell turntable units at all, and there has been, I think, a little bit of, maybe a little bit of confusion regarding what the ball catch does. And in conclusion, all that ball catch does is just positively locate that unit either fully open on one side and fully closed on the other, or fully closed on one side and fully open on the other. That's its function. There is, in that technical data sheet listed down below, they give you the rough opening. Let's take a look. Now, interestingly, there's not a guide or a recommended mounting location. I would certainly think if I was going to make an educated guess, it's not indicated in the technical data sheet. I have reviewed the A117.1 document, which is accessible and usable buildings and facilities. It's the federal law for handicap compliance. There is no reference to specimen pass-through cabinets. If I was going to make an educated guess, I would think grab bar height, 33-inch sort of scenario, is where you would certainly probably want to consider where to locate that. I would grab bars are going to be 33 to 36 inch. I would probably consider your installation to be in that range. I might look to place the unit at the lower range to the bottom of the turntable itself. Okay. Might look to place that within that compliant range. I don't have any document that I can fall on that says this is where you place that. And I'm very surprised in that regard. I would follow the guidelines for handicap accessible washrooms, unless you had a very particular non-handicap compliant, non-public facing sort of application, and it was being used for some sort of laboratory research development, that sort of aspect application. There is finally a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the ASI products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the ASI 0515 Specimen Turntable Pass-Through Cabinet or any other ASI product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.